Teaching your dog casting is very simple. It's very straightforward. This is something that any dog can learn to do. If you were going to try and teach a chimp to do this, it would not go well. You can train a dog to do this very simply, but training a chimpanzee, they don't want to do it. There's all this thing about like, how smart is my dog? Don't worry about how smart the dog is. It's very windy, by the way. You should be worrying about, you know, how pleasant is your dog to be around? Does your dog want to be compliant? Is your dog friendly around people? That's what you want. You don't need a super smart dog that's a problem solver. That doesn't work good. That does not make for a good pet. Any dog can learn to do this. It's very simple. Now, I'm going to stand out in front of Mila, and I have two different objects, okay? They're both very similar. They have the same sort of value. They're a little bit different. One's bigger, one's smaller. They should be exactly the same, but this is what I grabbed. In other words, this is true if you're working your dog from piles too. You want to have them all the same objects because the dog might see one object as more inviting than the other. Does that make sense? Piles, what I mean is like at first you're throwing a retrieve, but then at a point you just put a pile of objects and the dog goes and gets them. So you want to use the same objects. Do you understand? You want to use the exact same sort of objects so that the dog doesn't have a tendency to go for one or the other. So it's very simple. So we take each object and we put it out to the side like this. Watch. Sit. I put one here. Then I put one here. Now, I don't really need a leash with Mila. I don't. She could do this without a leash, but when you first start doing this, your leash is your #1 tool. It's also called a lead. You can lead the dog with it. Use a leash, okay? Use a leash. And then, using exaggerated body language, I'm going to indicate to Mila which one to go get. And the exaggerated body language would be like this or like this. And then so it starts out being real exaggerated, like you'll be like that, and maybe even take a big step and get the dog, you know, figured out what you're trying to tell it to do. This is a visual language that you can interact with your dog with. They don't really understand language. You understand the point though. So you really exaggerate it at first, and then it can go into just something like this or like this. Now this is just casting right and left. There's also back casting where the dog, you raise your hand and the dog will spin around like that, or you raise this hand and the dog spins around like that and goes and gets something that's behind it. But this is just right and left casting, okay? So Mila's sitting there, she sees these objects, right? She knows that they're there. She's being good. Wonder, clean off your eyes a little bit, me. Sit. Sit. Good. Sit. Notice how she's looking at me, concentrating for me to give her direction. This is something your dog will love, and it will help. It'll definitely help. The more you can teach your dog, and the more your dog's following your direction, the less problems you're going to have with your dog. This is not only for a service dog or a retriever. This could be for your house dog. You notice that I'm not even saying good girl. I don't have to. Why? Because the retrieve is positive reinforcement. This notion that you have to train with food, you're just screwing the dog up. You can use anything that the dog likes. Drop.